Hi, this is Jim of Freedom Fighter Radio Show on the Plains Radio Network. It is 1:09 Eastern Standard Time. It is April 15th. I'm en route to the Tea Party in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm presently standing in Conyers, Georgia on the property of Vantage Products. Vantage is a company that have manufactured these coffin liners. We've heard a lot of talk worldwide about these. In fact, we do want to just say we condemn the people that are condoning acts of violence or vandalism against this company. We absolutely condemn it. Now, we are fortunate enough today to talk to the production supervisor of Vantage Products. Dennis here has indicated that the company has offered people in the past to come speak to him. No one has. So what you're going to hear today and what you're seeing now is an exclusive interview. An exclusive interview with a representative of Vantage so that we can hear from the company side what these boxes are really about. Are they FEMA coffins or are they just merely coffin liners? People, it is very important that we don't latch on to every story or every rumor out there. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try to put to rest, or attempt to put to rest, the rumors. Now, I personally know that the government does not have good intentions for the American public, but that does not mean every time we see something we can latch onto it. It is very important to hear from both sides and talk to the people that are actually manufacturing these products. Again, Dennis, I thank you for allowing me to be on your company's property and give us the opportunity to hear from Vantage of what is really going on. Dennis, how long have you been working for Vantage?
I've been working since 1994, so better part of 14, 15 years.
Okay, about when has these rumors surfaced about these FEMA coffins? Can you tell us about when you start hearing about these?
I'm going to say a couple of years ago we heard things, and it seemed to kind of ebb and flow, you know. But probably 6-8 months ago it really picked up after Alex Jones had put some of that out there. Some of his, when he labeled these things as being FEMA related, which isn't absolutely not true. After Alex Jones did it, there was a lot of YouTube activity and, you know, quite a bit. It seemed to wane down, then as of recently it's picked up again. And, you know, we that work here and have worked here for so long, like you said, if it's a truther movement, then the idea should be that you'd be looking to get to the truth of things. When in fact, everything that you see says these are FEMA coffins. And since undeniably these have nothing to do with FEMA, I just don't, you know, people keep putting out misinformation and calling them FEMA coffins. They are not FEMA coffins, as well as greatly exaggerating the numbers.
Okay, now what numbers? Okay, before we go on, what kind of numbers are we talking? I mean, what kind? I believe
Alex Jones, our Madison storage location. I believe Alex Jones started out at like $500,000, and then you see it's kind of like the old telephone game. Next thing you know, it grows to $1 million, $2 million, and all that. I do our inventory control. We get audited by some of the independent states, North Carolina for one, that we are, you know, have to verify to the state when in the funeral industry,
right,
if somebody purchases something for a funeral while they're still alive, that money either has to be in escrow or you actually have to maintain the product, which is one of the advantages of our product, that they can be stored like this. So the exaggeration of Madison, there's actually less than 100,000.
So, okay,
you know?
Okay, now we're in Conyers, Georgia right now. Approximately, can you give us a rough estimate or maybe an exact estimate of how many of these coffin liners that I'm standing around right now? A rough estimate.
We did it back in January.
I mean, it's nowhere near 500,000.
You know, and for the sake of being accurate, if you come back and talk to us, we'll give you that
but it's safe to say it doesn't look like $500,000 here.
No, not even on this location.
Right. No, I mean, it's,
right.
Okay. Now, what I want to ask you, you've indicated to me when I pulled over and parked my car beside your property that there's been people that have recently advocated acts of violence and destruction against your company's property.
Correct. Can
you tell us a little bit of background about that? Because this is the first time I heard of it.
Yeah, I saw one came up about a week or so ago on there, and there's a gentleman, I use that term loosely, who is advocating He says he knows what he would do if it was in his backyard, and he says, why can't some people get together and pick up trucks, spray it down with some gasoline, and shoot a flare gun in there. Like I say, those that work here that realize that we're in a legitimate business to the funeral products industry. There's no nefarious goings on. We are not FEMA related. We have a storage program as well as inventory for at need, or customers that buy like that. To hear things like that, it's just it's crazy.
Basically, so they're actually advocating anarchy, lawlessness,
Right.
and I personally, Dennis, I do question my government. I'm not happy with everything.
And
everybody
I don't have any problem with that.
Right.
I'm as skeptical as the next guy.
The question is we are not to be, we are to defend ourselves, but that's clearly would not be an act of self-defense. That would clearly be going over the line, advocating the destruction of property. Was that individual, without disclosing any other details, maybe GBI, has GBI been made aware of this threat or this comment or this situation with the arson?
I don't believe they've contacted law enforcement, but I'm not in that loop.
Okay, well, I don't know if they are, but you might. My recommendation is I would recommend.
I mean, law enforcement in the Madison area is
they're aware
of that people have the potential of getting out of hand about something that they've become a little paranoid about.
Now FEMA. Let me ask you now, just to put the matter to rest on it beyond this interview. At some point, I hope to be able to interview your company president at some point at his schedule. Would your company be willing to actually document that there? I mean, you can say unequivocally that there is nobody is going to be able to produce documents showing a connection between FEMA and your Vantage. I mean, has there ever been any connection at any point? I mean,
no, sir.
So they've never purchased. No, I'm asking.
I'm telling you.
Okay, so there's no documentation of any communication. FEMA's never showed up here, made any purchases or anything.
Nope.
Okay, well, Dennis, I appreciate your time. Dennis, the production supervisor of Vantage Products here in Conyers, Georgia, and people, you heard the company side, and I'm looking at these, and about how many shipments you make. I mean, you deal again with a lot of funeral companies throughout the nation,
throughout the country, and actually, some goes overseas.
So you actually have international clientele as well.
Some, yes. So we do some work for the Veterans Administration, a long-term project. Which, while I'm at it, that's one which has nothing to do with us, but they're doing a big VA project. There's VA cemeteries all over the country, even Puerto Rico and different places. If you look at what they're actually doing in the national cemeteries, they go ahead and prepare these large areas for burial for our veterans.
Right.
And there's one they're doing out there in Phoenix, Arizona right now.
The National Veterans Cemetery in Phoenix.
Which we have nothing to do with, but I've also noticed all that activity of people that are so worried about that has something to do, some nefarious means. And it's just, people need to think a little bit before they go jumping off that cliff. Being skeptical is fine, but in a truth movement, honestly, you ought to be looking for truth. And if something comes against what you think, you need to be able to accept that as maybe I was a little off on this one.
I couldn't agree further, Dennis. I couldn't agree further on it. Now,
because nobody's ever going to establish credibility in what they're after when other people that can sit back and go, well, I know for a fact that's misinformation. It just discredits whatever they're trying to say.
Well, hopefully your Plains Radio Network, hopefully you appreciate the fact that we're willing to talk to and allow you a chance to let the people hear from your point. Now they're pretty large, but again, we got to remember the caskets sit down inside these, right?
Correct. There's a base, the casket sits on that, and then this covers the casket.
Because there's been talk, I'm sure you've heard the talk that multiple bodies go in here.
Right.
You've probably heard them referred to as giant Tupperware containers.
Right.
Right. I'm just telling you the things I've heard. Okay, well, Dennis, I appreciate you allowing me again to get on your company's property.
Freedom is the only way, yeah. Terrorists,